Big topics, big stories, and big news. The Big Rich Show. It happens here. Tonight's guest is an American actress and producer, Curta Schlarbaum. She is most recently known for The Love of Jessie, a movie which released earlier this year in 2020. She's also had many roles on various sitcoms in Hollywood. Her feel-good story is full of fun, truth, and ups and downs. So join us next. Why? Because it happens here. And welcome to the Big Rich Show. Tonight, I have Curta Schlarbaum with me. And guys, we're here to talk about a movie that's coming out in two days? Yes.
Yeah.
May 1st. And the name of the movie is For the Love of Jessie. I've watched the trailer, and I actually talked with the gentleman who I believe that you co-wrote this with. And wow.
David Maccabee.
Yeah, David Maccabee. And this is a beautiful story. It's amazing. So first off, thank you for coming on the show. And second, would you like to talk a little bit about how you came about this story with David?
Well, sure. Well, first of all, thank you, Rich, for having me on the show. How Jessie got started was a story in my head. For many years before I started working in the movie industry, I worked for an OBGYN. And I worked for him for many years, Dr. Edward C. Schumann out of Anaheim, California. And I absolutely loved him. He was the coolest doctor, and he had delivered over 1,000 babies, and he used to take me on his deliveries and take me on interesting surgeries. And anyway, I wanted to do a story about an up-and-coming young doctor. And I had him in mind because I had heard stories about what it was like for him when he was first getting started. And anyway, a conversation that we had at one point was the mortality rate of women and babies. And I asked him, why would a mother die these days? I mean, we know that it very rarely happens that a pregnant woman dies giving birth, but he said, well, there is one really rare situation, and it's called an amniotic embolism. And I went, okay, I'm going to write that into my story. And it was a story I had been working on. And that was how it began. It was in my head. I hadn't talked to anybody about it. But I pitched it to a guy in LA, and he said, oh, I told him my thoughts on the story. And he said, that's cheesy. I don't think I'm interested. And then I happened to meet David Maccabee, and I pitched it to him, and he said, I love it. Let's write it. And that's where it began.
Awesome. You guys did an amazing job. I'm a big baby anyways. I'm a softie. And so this kind of story just touches my heart from beginning to end. And, I can't wait to watch it, to be honest. So kudos to you guys. From speaking with him and from the little brief speaking that I had with you earlier this evening, and from seeing the trailers, and then reading whatever info I could pull off the internet, I'm ready. Come on, 2 days. Let's go.
Yeah, get your Kleenex ready. You're gonna need it. But it's a feel-good movie. You know, it has its happy moments, it has its sad moments, and then it has a really sweet ending. And I can't even say enough about the cast and crew. I had the best people to work with. I can't even tell you. I don't know if you're familiar with the story about who we had originally chosen to be the leading man. His name was Blake Herron, a fabulous actor. He was a child actor. I don't know. Did you ever see the movie Shiloh?
Sure.
Yeah, well, that was Blake Heron as a boy. Anyway, Blake grew up, wonderful actor. He was kind of typecast as a bad guy. Either he'd be a drug addict or a criminal or whatever. But I had the good fortune to meet him on the set of a pilot we were doing together, and I instantly liked him. He reminded me of my own son. And then I met David Maccabee at the same time. And so David and I originally wrote the script to have Blake as our leading man. And about 4 weeks prior to filming, Blake died.
Right. Yeah.
And that was a huge, huge heartbreak. We were all devastated. And not because we'd lost our leading man, but because we had lost a dear friend, and we didn't quite know how to deal with it. So we knew that we wanted to make the movie, we just didn't know who was going to replace him. And then about 3 weeks before starting to film, we have a barrel racing scene in the movie. It's really cool. In fact, my daughter Katie is the stunt rider, and she was going to be riding her horse Texas, who was a fabulous barrel horse. He'd been in the Shanghai Noon movies with Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan rode him on stage at the Jay Leno show. He was this fabulous horse. Well, 3 weeks prior to filming, he broke his leg right in half and had to be put down.
Goodness.
And then right before we started to film, David Maccabee got in a motorcycle accident and broke his arm. Yeah. So we're beginning to think, Rich, that maybe we should make this movie.
That is Lord forgive me. I'm not laughing. I'm laughing with you, not at the situation. But yeah, that is like 1, 2, 3 strike. You're like, okay, should we be moving forward? Or is somebody trying to tell us something?
Yeah, it was tough, but we went ahead. We forged forward, and we had the good luck to find Randy Wayne, who slipped into the lead role. And I'll have to admit, when he came on set, we were all had our hearts in our throat, because pretty much everybody in the cast and crew knew Blake and loved him, and we weren't sure if he was going to be able to fill those big shoes. But boy, did he hit it out of the ball field. He was fantastic.
Now, did you have to change up any of the script specifically to fit this actor?
Yeah, we did. Well, right off, David said, well, because originally our lead person, his name was going to be David Matthews, Dr. David Matthews. And David Maccabee said, no, he's not going to be David. That was Blake's role. We'll change it. So we changed his name to Luke. We were going to have a blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl play Sage. And we had the good fortune to find Mandala Rose, who is anything but blonde and blue-eyed. She's an Australian and just absolutely beautiful. And we wrote it into the script that she was an Aussie. We told her we wanted her to keep her accent, and you will fall in love with her. Her performance is stellar. She's wonderful.
Awesome. I can't wait. You mentioned that you were in the medical field prior to writing.
Yes.
Now, was the writing of this movie your first attempt at something in Hollywood, or did you leave the medical field to pursue acting or things of that sort in Hollywood?
Well, once the doctor I worked for retired, so did I. Okay. And yeah, so it I've always loved movies, and I've always loved acting, and took stage and took commercial acting and all of that. But I didn't do anything serious. But once I was retired from working for the doctor, my daughter-in-laws, both of them, decided they wanted to be extras. They wanted to go to central casting in California and sign up. And so they said, come on, Mom, come with us. You be a background actor. So I went with them. We signed up, and they each got to be on a show. I got to be on a show. My first show was Mike and Molly.
I love that show.
Right. Yes. Oh, and ever since then, I've adored Melissa McCarthy because she's just the coolest person. And after they were on a show, they both said, you know, they hated sitting and holding. They hated not being able to eat when they wanted to. They hated the whole thing. Well, I kept on going.
Okay.
And usually the life of a background person is a year, maybe. I did it for 5. And then I wound up getting my SAG card, and that turned things around.
Amazing. It's amazing what being talked into doing something and then doing it and then outliving the average, and then now look,
Yeah.
releasing
Yeah.
the first digital movie, which I love. One thing that I love with technology now is it makes it possible for the smaller person, for the independent, to get their voice, their book, their movie, their art put out to the world. And it's
Yes.
because otherwise, think about that. Just 20, maybe even 15, 20, 25 years ago, had you been turned down on this script, you might not, it might never have saw the day of light, your idea,
Right.
you know,
Right.
with the big,
Yeah. And being an independent movie gives you a lot more freedom. And I think, well, obviously, I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of money to work with. We made it work, and because we filmed everything in just about everything in Wickenburg, Arizona, the people were so wonderful here that they gave us carte blanche. I got to be the location person, and there's some scenes, and you'll see in the movie that you think, wow, that must have cost a lot of money. We'll let you think that.
Okay.
We had some very generous people help us out.
So you guys actually filmed this movie in the town that you live in, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, Wickenburg, Arizona.
Okay. And I think that I was reading something to where you were almost a den mom too, because everyone stayed at your place.
Yeah. Well, I actually got everyone rooms close to my home, but we filmed in the house almost a month. So I had a cast, a crew. I had Randy Wayne staying here on the property in one of our casitas. They were here every day. They were in every room in my house. They were in my refrigerator. They were they made themselves at home, and I loved it. I came to love every single person on the crew. I couldn't have asked for a nicer bunch of kids.
Did people take turns cooking? And if so, who was the best cook?
I did a little bit, but we were fortunate. I have a really good friend that was kind enough to be our chef. So everybody ate really good every day, including all my wonderful extras. I had made up my mind after having been an extra for 5 years that my extras would be treated like they were superstars. They would eat steak, and they would sit and they would eat with the principal actors, and they would enjoy every day that they worked on set.
Amazing. That's very touching, and I'm glad to hear that. And then that's what being independent is about. It's uplifting each other from the smallest role to the biggest role, because everyone is probably going to end up at the end of the day doing 2 to 10 things, not just doing their one deal.
Yeah.
I also read that not only did you wrote this with David, you produced it, and you also have a role in the movie as well.
I do. I play Nurse Michelle. She's she's a nice nurse Ratchet.
I bet that was a hard
She
role to prepare for, playing a nurse.
it kind of came naturally. I didn't have a problem with it. I was the mama on the set because besides Adrienne Barbeau, and I honestly do not know how old Adrienne Barbeau is because she's just so gorgeous. I was the second oldest on set. So I was kind of like the mama on set, and I was the mama in the movie to the doctors and the people involved.
Very well. I would have been the grandfather. So.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, man, we're learning a lot about this. I'm having a great time with you so far. We're getting to that point of the Big Rich show where we're going to do the which band. I'm going to give you 3 to 4 different random things, and we're going to decide which band would best describe that scenario with you.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, let me pull this up right here. I got them wrote down.
Okay.
All right, first one for which band tonight for you, and I did these specifically for you. A night out on the town with Curta would be like which band? Metallica, Bob Marley, or Devo?
Oh gosh. Devo.
I like it. Very good. Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. Do 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 do. Yeah.
When you're feeling
Whip it.
You must whip it. Right. Which band best describes someone's first impression of Curta? Madonna, Lady Gaga, or Tina Turner?
Oh, Tina.
Okay.
I love Tina. Yeah, she's my girl.
And she's
Yeah.
I love it.
She's wonderful.
Oh, she is amazing, amazing artist. Which band describes a romantic evening with Curta? Marvin Gaye, Foreigner, or Prince?
Oh my gosh. I love all 3 of them, but I have to tell you, I love Prince. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
Prince did I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, Prince was the man. Yeah,
He was.
I usually throw Foreigner in there just for on other people as well, because some of their songs are just amazing, like Hot Blooded, Check It and See. You know?
Oh gosh, yeah. Yeah.
But,
great music. Great music. But the Prince, oh.
Yeah. No, there's no
Nice guy.
All right. So here's the last one on which band. The story, your story up until this very moment can be best described as which band? The Rolling Stones, Guns N' Roses, or Kiss?
The Rolling Stones. Oh my gosh, yes.
There you go.
Wild Horses.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Hey, I like that. So there we go.
Yeah.
Curta with which band? And she had some very interesting answers. I like it. It gives something now the fans know a little something. So now you might know where her musical tastes lie as well. You never know. And she loved Prince. And if you love Prince, we're friends for life now.
Of course, of course. I cried when I found out that he died. He was incredible.
It crushed me. I couldn't believe it. It felt so surreal because I was like, oh, finally he's free. He's gonna be coming out with his own music. And when I say free, he had tying him down. No one had a contract on him. He could do what he wanted. You know, and I was like, now we're gonna get some good stuff. And then
yeah, what a shame. What a rare talent, and what a shame that he died so young.
Yeah, you know something a lot of people don't know too is every instrument in every song he played it. So if he went to lay a song, he did the vocals, he played the bass, he would play the regular guitar, he played the drums, whatever keyboards, whatever was in that song, he would layer it, and then he would go and he played every instrument.
Yeah, he was a magician when it came to that. He really was. He kind of reminded me of Jimi Hendrix in that he was probably ahead of his time. It would have been wonderful to see him as he grew older, to see what he was going to come up with. Can you imagine Jimi Hendrix now?
I know. No, yeah. I mean, Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There's a lot of artists like
Yeah.
that. You imagine, like, if
Yeah.
Bob Marley, or even
Yeah.
Marvin Gaye. If Marvin Gaye was able to,
Oh, yeah.
you know, because I think he was wasn't it 84? I think when his father shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I bet he would have been right up there, still putting out hits in the '90s. Maybe even.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I loved Motown. If you would have said anything, well, I guess I could have said that with Marvin. The Supremes, the Four Tops, Marvin Gaye, all of those were they were fantastic. They really were. They're classic.
Yeah, if you enjoy music, you have to enjoy Motown. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, that was the heart. That was the heart of America. Doom.
Yeah, absolutely. I was kind of I grew up in the 60s where I was a teenager. So I had I was kind of into Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, Jackson Brown, James Taylor. I kind of went that way. And of course the Eagles. They were, who doesn't love the Eagles?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, no, I get it. All that. And that's what I love all that. If you love music, you will appreciate anything that's good, and that's what I tell people.
Yeah.
If you're a true music lover, then it's like art. You'll see something fine in any piece of art you look at.
That's right.
So
Absolutely.
you'll hear something beautiful in any song you listen to, whether it might be the lyrics, it might be the solo guitar, it could be the drums, it could be the guy in the back saying, "We need more cowbell." More.
I love that. I love that.
Oh,
When
no.
we were getting ready to make the movie, it's funny. I kept thinking of all the songs I wanted in the movie. Little did I know how much the rights to a song can cost, because I was bound and determined that I wanted the movie to open up with "Running Down a Dream" by Tom Petty, because when you see the beginning of the movie, you see Randy Wayne is running through the town. Literally, he's jogging through the town, and I'm like, that's the song I want to open with. And then my one of my producers said, "You got any idea what that song would cost you?" And when I was told what it would cost me, I said, "Well, guess I'll pass on that." I had no idea. And of course, Tom Petty had just passed away, which made him a huge artist. I mean, he's a huge artist anyway, but once they, post-mortem, they suddenly really become big.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, it was nice to think about.
Hmm. Yeah, songs are crazy. They're right. I get hit all the time on Facebook and YouTube because there's just certain songs that'll stick in my head when I do, because I do other projects as well. I'll do my own little mini documentaries, or I'll do a show on something, trying to debunk it or find if there's truth behind it. Certain songs, I'm like, all right, well, I don't care what happens. I'm playing the clip to this, and that'll get demonetized, and whoever owns the rights to the song gets all the money for my video. I don't care, because I just like to get the info out there. It's not about the money with me. And if they want to take my little bit of change that I'm making, then by all means take it, because the show that I'm doing, if I envision a certain song in a certain place, then I'm going to use it, whether it's 5 seconds or 30 seconds of it. And I do get my hand smacked a lot, but it's a part of it. It's when you like you said, you envisioned your movie opening with that. It's almost like, if that was me, I was like, all right, I've got to cut the check. If I have to sell something, I just can't do it without this song. I'm that way. But
Yeah, well, next movie I'll have a music account, but as of right now, I was on a shoestring.
I get
It just wasn't possible. But we got lucky because the music in it is really good, and I was happy with the way it turned out. You know, you get certain things, you get a certain mindset and you think, okay, I'm going to do this. And then when you find out you can't, you get disappointed. But at that point, when you've got to decide about music, you've almost just about had it with everything. You're like, oh no, you know, one more thing we've got to deal with.
Right.
And so I'm happy with the way it turned out. I think the music, I think the way the composer handled it was beautiful, and I'm proud of it. I really am.
Awesome. Yeah, I am too. Fans, like we said, that's 2 days away. May 1st, which is Friday, right?
Friday.
Yeah, man, woo, time is flying. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
it is.
turning an old man in May. I will be becoming
Oh,
real old man.
what's your birthday?
May 26th.
May 26th. My son's birthday is May 1st. So.
My father's is the 17th of May. My mother's is the 22nd. My middle son is the 25th. And
Wow.
my youngest son is the 25th of June. Yeah, so we're all right there, the summer babies.
Yeah, lots of May babies.
Yeah. Now, you're going to be able to find this, fans. Go out and get it, support it. You know how I am. I love to support independent filmmakers, authors, musicians. We need to uplift each other. And a lot of us are still in lockdown. And what better way, you know, come on. We made Tiger King #1 in America. And I knew that guy. He was a jerk. This is a very nice woman. Go watch the movie. And you guys are going to have that being released digitally. Apple iTunes, Google,
Apple. Yeah. It's
anywhere.
going to be on Hulu, Vudu, iTunes. Yeah.
Okay, great. So, and I will put that in the footnotes here, and I will scroll that at the bottom so people can get that burnt in their head so they don't forget.
Oh, I hope they don't forget. I think they're going to love it. It's a feel-good movie, and right now, the way things are going, we need to feel good.
Absolutely. For the love of Jesse, come on. All right, guess what time it is?
Is it time to go back?
The Gauntlet of Five. This is one of my favorites. Fans love it. I have fans that will tune in just to see people's responses. So with that said, I kind of try to change them up, not too much. I like to stay the course with the Gauntlet of Five. That way we can always compare it to other people's. But with yours tonight, we're going to open up with question number 1 for Curta. Are there aliens among us?
Yeah, they're from Mexico.
You are the second person. The last one was a psychic medium. Did we land on the moon?
We certainly did.
All right. Does Bigfoot exist?
I've got a nephew that wears a size 14 shoe. Yeah, he exists.
Now, is the Earth, this one's, I love this one, is the Earth round, flat, or as Neil deGrasse Tyson often says, pear-shaped?
It's round.
Okay.
It is a sphere, and it hangs from nothing.
I love it. I think one of the better answers I've had before is it came from Brian James Gage. He's an author, very intelligent man. I love the guy. He makes me laugh. He should be a stand-up comedian. But he goes, it's round. Of course it's round. And he goes, I'd like to see anyone otherwise. Like, tell me the reason. They're like, we're going to fool the people into buying these globes because maps just aren't making us enough money, you know. And he did it, though. But and the last question for you tonight on the Gauntlet of Five is, do you believe that at one time were still presently. Hybrid type creatures could be among us that we read about in the Greek lore or mythology. Things, let's say, like giants that even the Bible makes mention of, or mermaids, or maybe half men,
Mhm.
bull, like minotaurs, or like the Egyptian uh, hybrids that we see. Have these things existed, and could they still?
Well, I definitely believe that there were, as you spoke about the Bible when it talked about the Nephilim in Noah's day. They were half human, half angel.
Yeah.
So I don't know about them, about giants, or no, I don't think so today. But I definitely believe that there are some abnormalities that happen. Can't say exactly, I've seen people who are super, super, super tall and big, and that's not normal, But I definitely believe that there were ones, um, you know, before us, maybe, BC, BCE or whatever. Yeah, there were giants.
I believe so too. I even used to research a lot of that some in the past too, because I get curious. And you're right with the Nephilim and the angel human hybrid. And a lot of people try to say, oh, when they say the sons of God laid with the uh, daughters of man, that was God talking about men, when really it's not.
Hmm.
If you look at it biblically, or even in the Hebrew scripture, when they use that term only 3 or 4 times in the Bible. You can see it in Timothy, Daniel, and then in Genesis, where it'll mention the sons of God. And in each of those
Uh-huh.
cases, especially in Timothy and in Daniel, it will talk of the sons of God being the angels at the time, because those were his children.
Right,
You know,
right, absolutely. I think of another giant, would have been Goliath.
yeah, absolutely. He's in there. And there's the scriptures of Gilgamesh. He was a giant. And then we know Babylon stood as a city, and Nimrod was half giant, half man.
Yeah,
He stood at
yeah,
14, 15 foot tall. And that was an
yeah. He was.
so yeah.
Yeah,
So that we have proofs in our ancient scriptures that those type of beings, did exist. It's just whether you want
yeah.
to believe or not, I guess. So
Oh no, I believe it. I love to read, and my favorite book is actually the Bible. That's my favorite.
awesome. Yeah, no, the Bible has so much to offer. And not only the Bible alone, too, there's so many other, uh, you know, they're not, all right, I'm not saying that you need to take them word for word like we would the Bible if you are a Christian, but like
Hmm.
the book of Enoch, or the book of Jasher, or the book of Giants, and, the Dead Sea Scrolls, those are all good things to research and to kind of correlate with the Bible, because you'll notice
Absolutely.
a lot of books were left out of, a lot of scripture were left out of the Bible. Now, whether that was done on
Hmm.
purpose and we got just enough in the Bible that he knew we needed, I don't know. But a lot of that stuff ties things together that we normally wouldn't understand. And you're like, wait a minute, this with this, whoa, it points there. And now I have my answer. But I don't know.
Absolutely. I totally agree. I think that, unfortunately, a lot of people think that it's outdated. It's just an old book that was just written by a bunch of men. But I think it's probably the wisest book ever written. I believe that the men that wrote it were inspired. And, to me, it's, as it says, all scripture is inspired of God. It's a good book.
It is definitely, definitely. And and this is what I even told my children. Whether you want to believe or not, use the Bible as a tool on how to live your life, at least, because it will
Yes.
teach us love, compassion, understanding, trial and error, all the things
Right.
you're going to go through as a young adult and adult your entire life. And you know what? At the end of the day, all we need is love, folks. You know me, I'm about uplifting and loving everyone. Um, and I I love having someone on that, because usually I have a lot of people on that they don't want to believe, but I never push anything that I believe on anyone. And also, I will have anyone on my show, whatever. If you could be Muslim, you could be Buddhist, because I want to understand. I want to know, and I want
Mm-hmm.
to degrade another human. And I've had it all in my life too. I don't care if you want to marry another man. I don't have to say that I agree with it personally, but I will never judge you for that, because I want to have you on my show and understand the life you've lived. Why? Uh, I want to have a better understanding, and I've done that my entire life with everything. I accept everyone, and I love everyone, and I will change those who ask my opinion, and I won't change.
Mm-hmm.
I will plant seeds. And that's just how I've lived my life, and I never force anything. And I love everybody knows me, Big Rich, like around, especially around town. When I go out, I mean, people are fist bumping, and they know there's that dude. He hugs everyone. He holds the door for people, and never has a bad word. Because I love life, man. I love everyone. It's like you're a part of the family now. You're stuck, Curta. You're in trouble. You're part of the BRRS family now. So.
I love it. I love it. You know who I was going to tell you who was a real Bible lover was Prince.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was a very spiritual person. One of the things I really admired about him.
Yeah, and not only that too, he was very he used to love to research and study outside the box as well. And that's what I always tell people. Nowadays we're caught up. We're like sheep almost. And I say sheeple because it's more comfortable to run in a pack and follow the herd than to
Mm-hmm.
lift your head up, back off of the herd, and say, whoa, there's so much more to offer. There's so much more
Mm-hmm.
to learn, to realize, to understand, to absorb and take in, because you'll get going down that path of the herd. And, oh, it's scary. I'm going to keep going. Whatever they say is right. It's right. I'm going to keep moving. And
Yeah.
a lot of people, we're in that time now where people, they kind of cocoon and herd together. And even with algorithms and the computers now, it brings us, it'll create your own false reality. It'll cocoon you into
Mm-hmm.
like-minded people, and the next thing you know, all you're dealing with are people that, well, I'm just giving you an example, like making potions, are into witchcraft, do not like government, this, and next thing you know, you got 5,000 people that are your friends, and you're all thinking alike, and that's your world. You think that's all that exists.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what one
Mm-hmm.
of the downfalls of the internet is. It has cocooned us into little segments of society, and I try to
Mm-hmm.
break away from that, because I want to be a part of everyone.
Yeah, being open-minded can open up so many avenues for you. Nothing is more interesting than talking to people with different opinions, different cultures. Um, I enjoy that. I really do, because we were all created with free will.
Absolutely.
So that's what makes us unique.
Mhm.
It's really a good thing to have an open mind, to be accepting, to be forgiving, and like you mentioned, we can't judge anybody. We're not the judges.
That's right. You're right. I had a blast with you tonight, Curtis. You're an amazing person.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, we had a good time. Folks, for the love of Jesse, and like I said, I'm going to try and get this one released and put out, because for the simple fact that the date of the release on this is Friday. So watch this, then get off and go and digitally download For the Love of Jesse. Cry, smile, laugh, and you're going to love it in the end. Then you're going to thank both of us. Do you have any closing, anything you want to say in closing, hon?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you, Rich. I've enjoyed every single minute of this, and I want to thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, just to another encouragement to the audience to please take the time and watch this sweet movie. If you're looking for something that takes you away a little bit and makes you feel good, this movie really will. I'm so proud of it, and you won't be disappointed. It's a good hour in 45 minutes, not quite 2 hours, but it's a great movie. Please watch it.
Yeah, we got you. I definitely am for sure. And I can't wait. And with that said, folks, you know how I do it around here. God bless, stay safe, and have a wonderful night.